Hey, it's Jeet Rider. So the day after I rented a bicycle on my own to tour around the Malecon in Puerto Vallarta, I actually went on a e-bike tour up towards the nearby mountains of Puerto Vallarta. It sounded like a great plan and an awesome little adventure, except the thing is, the e-bikes that they had me on, I was actually the only one who signed up for that particular tour that one day. The e-bike they had for me was a piece of crap. It appeared to be working, but when the kickstand was down and we tested it, it was working. But when we got on the upper hill climb on the steep terrain, the separate control or lever that was supposed to give the rear wheel a boost wasn't working at all. So I was just huffing and puffing and really exhausting myself in that brutal June Puerto Vallarta heat trying to get up these hills. Ultimately, we had to turn around earlier than planned, about halfway up the nearby mountain, because the piece of crap e-bike wasn't working, and my guide's motor seemed to be working fine, but there were several parts on his bicycle which were kind of loose and not very responsive. So if you book an e-bike tour in Puerto Vallarta, make sure to inspect your bike closely before you start off, and if it's not meeting your requirements, request that they bring you a bike that's actually in good shape and works. Either way, I got a bit of scenic video, and so let's hop on the ride. Before we do, about half of the video files has no audio, just like my previous video, which none of the files from that one had audio. I don't know, my microphone just committed suicide in that Mexico heat, so I had to layer in and build up audio for those parts. Here we are, working our way to the outskirts of town, passing by shop after shop after shop. It's amazing the scale of the tourism business in Mexico, especially states like Jalisco, that really rely on tourism over there. It makes you kind of think how hard hit they were during the whole COVID lockdowns, and how vulnerable the economy in much of Mexico is to any other future lockdown or illness or anything that may cause widespread travel disruption. Here I am, just following along, getting some information from my tour guide. I don't remember a damn thing he said at this point, but I'm sure it was very informative. And here we are, headed towards the very lush and full mountains, as you can see, with all the trees and greenery there, as we get further up the hills to the outskirts of Puerto Vallarta. This part in the outskirts seems to enjoy a bit slower pace than the rest of town. Here we are on the cobblestone in the mountains. Although this doesn't last long, we soon end up leaving this cobblestone, and the only thing that is left aren't even nicely compact forest trails or anything, but hard, very hard, rough gravel and rocks, and which made for quite a bumpy and difficult ride. And after this section, it just gets steeper and steeper. And as I was saying, my e-bike was not well maintained and was not working how it should, and the extra boost I needed in the rear wheel was not there, so it became a very painful ride very quickly. But at least this was the nice part about it. No thanks, Capitan. Things got too steep and too rough for the busted up nonsense bike I was on, so we had to turn around, and here we are going back downhill towards the civilization. This was about as close to the nature or jungles of Puerto Vallarta as I got. Alright, we're leaving the mountains now. Just enjoyed a nice lunch and some cool drinks at a restaurant there. Mis Raices, I think it was called. We didn't go all the way up the mountain because it was pretty steep and unforgiving. Hard terrain up there. Honestly, it's only suitable for dirt bikes and ATVs, and not e-bikes. But some nice views and a good adventure nonetheless. I think we're going to where that famous movie was shot, A Night in Tijuana or something. It was shot in Puerto Vallarta, starring Liz Taylor back in 1960 something. You know you're in Mexico, man. And once upon a time in Hollywood, or outside of Hollywood, Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor lived at this house together here in Puerto Vallarta, and I'll let my tour guide explain the rest.
These are the actor, but they come with a beautiful lady, famous Elizabeth Taylor. But Elizabeth Taylor not participate in the movie. They come to here to Puerto Vallarta with make cuchi cuchi with Richard Burton. And the paparazzis. Buenas tardes. Las escaleras para iguales, ¿verdad? Sí. Gracias. The paparazzis coming with the big cameras to take picture. When they saw Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton make a kiss or something, they can take a picture around. And Richard Burton decide to buy this house.
Oh, okay.
And Richard Burton have this house, that house. This house they buy from the Elizabeth Taylor, but they live it, Richard Burton living in this house. And they making this bridge. See?
Oh yeah.
And this bridge
for the two houses. Yeah.
When the girl want to get a cuchi cuchi, they come to cross the bridge and make cuchi cuchi and they return back to your house. That's the reason we call it the bridge of the love. See, that's the history of these houses. Now it's a hotel.
Now it's a hostel.
Now it's a hotel, yes. That's the most movies help us with us to get open with the big international tourists.
Here's some video of the restaurant me and my tour guide stopped at, located along the mountains. It's called Mis Raices. Wonderful location, great food and great people. I highly recommend it if you get the chance to go up there. And here's some pictures of one of me standing in front of Richard Burton's former home, which is now a hotel. And here are some snapshots of from the clock tower in Puerto Vallarta of the city. Thank you for joining me. This is Jeet Rider.